Hi, it's Dennis Green, and this is KCCK's Culture Crawl as continue to, visit and survey with artists up and down the corridor about how they are doing and what they are doing during this time when so many performances aren't happening. I'm happy, though, to talk to somebody right now who has a performance that is happening. Cavan Hallman is the director of Mirrorbox Theater, has been a guest on the Culture Crawl many times, and you all have come up with a unique series of programs. You started a week ago and are continuing your out of the box
That's right. Out of the
presentations.
box.
I
It's
like it.
fresh contemporary plays. Yeah.
So
Live streamed.
so you're live streaming readings of plays. And this is, I assume you're pulling the cast together in all their disparate locations and doing a reading in real time of a play.
That's correct. And just like all of the plays that we are producing when we're doing live productions, each one of these readings is of a play that has not yet been produced in Iowa. So contemporary plays that are fresh to our local community, but with the use of this new technology and this new platform for us, not only do we get to serve our community, but we get to connect people in our community with artists who could be all over the world. It's pretty exciting.
That is a part of this that you wouldn't have been able to do if you were staging the plays live. Probably, I know you bring in guest artists out of the region for some things, but you certainly can't go quite as far afield as you can with something like this.
That's absolutely right. So when we started this, we really wanted this to be an extension of what we're doing in the physical space. Last season in particular, we brought in a director from Chicago. We brought in a performer based in New York. And so this is an extension of what we've been doing, but definitely we have the ability now to do that more frequently and like you said, to kind of go farther afield and really extend both our reach and this opportunity for our local talent to interact with other people and for people in other communities to get a chance to see how much talent we have in ours.
You started this series a week ago, right as things were coming together or falling apart, depending on your point of view, where the pandemic was concerned. What was the first play you did, and how was it received?
Yeah, so the first play that we did is a play that I wrote called Ghostlight, and it was received really well. We had 30-something streams in the room, so to speak, and the audience stayed with us. I think we really achieved one of our goals, which was by making this an intimate experience like our black box theater performances, and not streaming it to YouTube or Facebook or something like that, that people really joined us when it was time for the event to start, and they stuck with us, rather than kind of like a TV show where you might bounce around during the commercials when people still had commercials as well. Sorry about that. But yeah, sorry about that sound there. But yeah, so I feel like it was received well. We had artists who reached out that were interested in joining us, and we actually had really generous donations come in, not just from our local community, but from people outside of our community who had never been to a Mirrorbox show before, who felt like this was providing them something important in this time.
Yeah, it's worth noting that this is true appointment viewing because, as you said, you're not putting the link up on social media and you're limiting it to 100 continuous streams. So it is
Mm-hmm.
very much like going to the theater and seeing the show.
Exactly, and we don't record it for future viewing either. If someone wants to experience one of these plays with us, then yeah, we need that appointment, and we're all kind of coming together as a mini community for that period of time, just like we would for a physical production of a play.
So tell me what this week's play is going to be.
This next play is a really exciting one by a writer that I have a personal connection with, Justin Maxwell. The play is called The Canopic Jar of My Sins, and it imagines a show trial that is happening in the middle of the ocean. And one of the inventors of plastic, Ralph Wiley, is being put on trial by an angel, a dead bird, and Roger Waters for his for his responsibility for creating this substance that is choking the oceans and has makes the argument that that plastic is part of the downfall of our environment. So it's absurd, it's deeply intelligent, and somehow amidst all of those things, I find to be really emotionally resonant. And so Justin was actually my major professor for my grad program in playwriting at the University of New Orleans. So that's where he's based. And this play premiered in 2019 at Swan Dive Theater in Minneapolis.
So it is very much a new play. Only been staged perhaps a couple of times at all in Meat Space.
Yeah, it has been produced once so far, and I know that it's had some other readings, I think, in its developmental process, but Justin, before he was in New Orleans, was based in Minneapolis, and his productions have received a lot of acclaim there. One of his previous plays, Autopia for Pigeons, was featured on the cover of American Theater magazine. He is really someone who is pushing the boundaries as an experimental playwright, and really just thrilled that we get to share his work with our audience.
Tell me about the cast.
So the cast is still coming together.
Wow.
We have one role that we're still waiting to see. Who will perform again. This has all come together really fast, and we didn't know until we knew whether or not it was going to work. So we kind of flew up the test balloon last Friday, and now here we are back in it again and preparing to have more plays available. But we do have a few cast members already signed on. I'm so excited. We got to collaborate in our first season with Angie Toomson, who's the artistic director at Theater Cedar Rapids. She performed in a play with us in our first season, and she's going to be playing the lead role of Ralph Wiley in this reading on Friday. And then an MFA acting student at the University of Iowa, Brittany Horton, is going to be joining us. And then a performer who joined us in season 2 for our play Bully, Divine Huff, is also going to be joining us. So.
Okay. So the play is The Canopic Jar of My Sins, and it's a reading online. And again, as Cavan said, it is not something that's going to be recorded or put out on social media. If you want to watch, you need to log into, are you doing it through Zoom, I think?
We're doing it through Zoom, and people can find on our website, we have a tab for Out the Box, and on there's a registration link. So attendance is free, but people do have to wegister prior to the event in order to be able to log in.
And of course, even though the performance is free, all of our, we're asking all of our audience members and potential audience members who are able during this uncertain time to be able to, if they can, to make a donation to support events like this and performance in general.
We have been so lucky that people really, there was an outpouring of generous support for our first reading, and we are still providing honorariums to the performers as well as royalty payments to the writers. So those donations not only support our ongoing mission, but actually directly support artists as well.
Okay. Well, good luck with it. It's this Friday at 8 p.m. Central.
Yeah,
correct?
That's right.
And visit your theater website to get the link. And again, you got to sign it. You should sign up ahead of time. Don't expect to be able to click in at 7:55 and get in, because it's very possible that all these streams will be spoken for. So do that now. And the Mirrorbox website again is
Mirrorboxtheater.com.
Cavan, thanks so much for being here, and come back hopefully in a couple of weeks if we are still all kind of locked down, and we'll talk about the upcoming performances as well.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Dennis. Thank you.
Thanks, Cavan. You can hear the Culture Crawl even during this time of when so many things are shut down on the radio pretty much each morning at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.